First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And the mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit. Teach His word and believe in His word, Lord willing in the same Spirit. That they continue in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Akwath, that are believers of this faith and His truth. Lord willing that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Lord willing, we can just go straight into the points to make this lesson not too long. How will you know? How will you know a prophet came across you? Right? Let alone, how would a man know that he is a prophet? Right? So, a man will know he is a prophet sent from Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, not by his own will, but by the Spirit and by the works that follow. So, it's really from Yahweh calling you and not you just your own, right? So let's get Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5. And it reads, it says, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." Right? The Lord knows us. Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai knows us before we even get in the womb. Because your spirit is with the Heavenly Father. A true prophet was chosen before birth. He doesn't decide to be a prophet. Yahweh ordains him. Right? You're predetermined before you even get into the womb if you're going to be a prophet, if you're going to be called for that role. Amos 3 and 7. "Surely Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets." Right? The Lord is going to do nothing, but he revealed his secrets to the servants, which are the prophets. Psalms chapter 25, verse 14. The Lord revealed his secrets to those that fear him. Right? Have a reverence and are terrified of him. Prophets receive revelations, others don't. Let alone these scriptures is revealed to them. Even another prophet their spirit is gonna be subject to another prophet. Just like how we see now. The Lord put prophets before brothers. If you came in this thing in 2000, it was a prophet in this thing in 1995. If you came in this thing in 1981, it was a prophet before prophets before you. Right? Your spirit is going to be subject to the prophets so that your spirit can align up with the understanding, with the doctrine that they're teaching. Now, I want to get another point. We're going to go to Jeremiah, the 20th chapter, which is multiple precepts that can go with this verse. This is Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 9. "Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in my heart, as a burning fire shut up in my bones. And I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay." Right? He couldn't hold back that fire. Even though he would never teach in his name no more, he couldn't hold back because it was a fire in him. Let me get a side precept real quick. And I believe Psalms 104, verse 4. "Who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire." Right? The servants, the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, they're going to have a fire in them. A fire to do what? To look good? No. A fire to teach. A fire to feed the sheep. Right? A prophet can't hold back from teaching, even if he tried. right? You'll be like, man, you know what? I'm gonna have to go to sleep. I'm gonna have to get some rest. Some brothers the Lord wake some brothers out of sleep, right? They go teach this word. Some brothers get off of work, right? And they're pushed through the Rakakwadash, right? Encouraged to go teach the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Really to go teach the doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's get Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, in verse 11. And it reads, and go get thee to them of the captivity unto the children of thy people. Who is thy people? That the Lord speaking to Ezekiel? The Israelites. And speak unto them and tell them, thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, right? So we supposed to teach this word regardless if they listen or if they don't, right? The word still has to come out, right? A prophet is compelled, which the understanding of compelled is to be forced. You're forced in the spirit to warn Israel regardless of how people react. It's either they take it in, it's either that they scared or they get emotional. We're supposed to teach this word regardless how another person take it, right? Let's get Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter. And I believe we're going to verse 21 to 22. And it reads, if thou say in thy heart, how shall we know the word which Yahweh have not spoken? How we gonna know if the Lord didn't speak this word? When a prophet speaketh in the name of Yahweh, if the thing followeth not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yahweh have not spoken, but the prophet have spoken it presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him. Now, one thing that the prophets can prophesy right now that came to pass is the slave trade, which we go to Deuteronomy 28:68 when we look at the 14 captivities the Israelites been in, right? The last captivity, which is the horn, which is a continuation of the 4th beast in Daniel the 7th chapter, verse 7 and 8, right? People are going to understand that. Then you might hear a prophet now, which starting with the apostle of Great Millstone and the affiliates beneath them, right? You know, in the same agreement, sound doctrine. They're teaching of the MOTB, the mark of the beast in Revelations 13, right? That's going to come to pass. All you have to do is continue to wait and see the signs of how right now digital is being pushed. In a minute, this dollar is not going to continue, right? And watch, many people are going to know that, especially when prophecy come to pass. I just want to go to this point. Ezekiel 33, you can read from verse 30 to 33, but this is verse 33. It says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. Right? So when these things do come to pass, you can be like, oh, snap, a prophet did. I was in the midst of a prophet. Let me get this in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, in verse 2 in the NLT. It says, then Yahweh said to me, write my answer plainly on the tablets, so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. Right? You have to be teaching 100% truth. Right? That's another example through the Spirit that's of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This vision is for a future time. It describes the end. It will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Right? We have to look at the time that we're in. If a prophet saying it's here today, look around. Is it here today? Right? If it's not here today, then that's not a prophet of the Lord. Right? Just like when we look at a curse to the spirit that's to the Israelite women, starting with the southern kingdom in Isaiah the 3rd chapter, verse 17 to 24, right? She's going to be bald. Most of the Judite women in the southern kingdom, their hair can't even go past their shoulders. Majority of them, their hair can't even get to their waist. Now, some of the northern kingdom, but majority of that was point on the southern kingdom, right? Shalom to the brother Shem Yawala, Yahweh Shemashai Brakatah, right? How are we going to know that a prophet is sent? How is a man going to know that he's a prophet, right? Because you're going to have a fire to teach this word. You're going to have a fire to want to teach 100% truth. You're not going to want to teach a lie, because we understand in scriptures, if you are reading, that the blind is going to lead the blind into a ditch. You're going to always examine yourself in this thing. The brother put Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 1 and 2. Behold, spake thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Revelations 19 and 10. That's another spirit you could tell that a prophet is in the mystic, right? Or even you can tell that that you can be a prophet. Which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh Shem Shai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. A real prophet is going in this word, right? They're not giving you some shabba dabba ding dong. Like right when me and the brother left work, a brother from GMS had sent something in Messenger, and it was I think the brother from Australia or the UK, I believe Australia, where some female had aluminum foil and she was moving like this, and her hand was at least, depending on how fast you're moving it to whatever direction, you're pushing air. So when she would move air, she would have the video seem like she's moving this aluminum, but it was really it's just the wind from her hand, and she's trying to make other people think she got powers, right? And then you might have a teacher saying hell was going to be a portable and we're going to die forever, right? Now, a real prophet is going to examine that understanding and dissect it with the scriptures and prove to you that burning forever is not true, because your spirit itself is a fire. But let alone, of course, you're going to see it in the end, right? But you want to hear a prophet break it down with the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? Again, a real prophet's words are fulfilled because they are from Yahweh. Let alone a prophet is going to edify you on things that did come to pass, right? They're going to always be teaching. I got a few more minutes. Now we're going to deal with a prophet will be hated, not loved by the world. So you're going to see examples of a prophet that's not going to be liked by everybody. He's not going to be the top guy or a guy that's trying to be on social media, the top streamer. No, none of that. A prophet is more for feeding and gathering the elect, if possible, right? Which it is possible, through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. This is Matthew, the 10th chapter, in verse 22. I'm going to read verse 21. It says, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. When we go to Revelations 20 and 4, we can see those that are hated in a sense of this ministry, right? I'm gonna just quote some of the things, right? Those that are fully in this thing, especially the men, they're gonna be hated for the witness of Yahweh Shai, for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither the image, or received the mark. Let alone when the famine of the word comes, you're gonna see the true prophets not teaching on the highways and byways no more. That's gonna happen, right? Let's get Luke, the 6th chapter. Luke, chapter 6, and verse 26. And this is what it reads. It says, woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets, right? It's going to be those of the same understanding, sound doctrine, that's going to be speaking about the men of the Lord. But the prophets is not going to be loved in the rap community, on podcasts, every man, every woman, right? Of course, the prophets is gonna they're gonna look bugged out. They're gonna look crazy. Some of the things that they bringing out, a majority is not gonna agree with it, right? The prophets is gonna be speaking about spiritual powers. Don't we get spiritual powers in the scriptures? A false prophet or a false believer gonna say no. What about Samson? What about Jacob wrestling the angel? What about the sons of God? What about Moses? Right, in Exodus 7, he was considered a god, right? Sending all these plagues in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, splitting the water, right? What about Elijah and Elisha, right? Bringing forth fire, right? You got to understand the men of the Lord had power. Peter was healing people just because of his shadow, right? They were casting out spirits, but it was really through the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, like Yahweh Shai said, praying and fasting, right? But they truly believed, right? Healing somebody just saying, hey, get up, right? You're healed in the name of Yahweh Shai, get up. Because the apostles believe, and those that's getting up, they believe, right? Because it's a transaction in the spirit. Just like the woman that was bleeding for 12 years, she just said, if I touch the hem of his garment, I'm going to be healed. She had faith before she even received it, right? So again, a true prophet faces opposition, not worldly glory. Man, fuck the world, man. A prophet is going to have videos where they're removed. A prophet is not coming in this thing to debate, because a prophet is going to know that this ministry is one-sided. We don't have to prove a point because it's only for the elect. We're here to gather, and the Lord is going to sift out who's not sincere, who's not diligent. The Lord is going to expose somebody that's coming with contention. Brother, you could see it on brothers' videos when they at camp or when they doing sit-downs, just like this damn foo-foo person above Samuel Wallace saying, why can't you say Niger? Or why does it hurt? Right? They didn't come to learn. That's not a believer, right? Let's get another one, right? Because he speaks according to the word, not of his own mind, right? Let me get this. Isaiah 8:20, this is the classic. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them, right? Yahweh Shai, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding don't dwell in them, right? The testimonies of Yahweh Shai, the testimony of the prophets, right? Testimony of the prophets of old and what the prophets is going to go through when they come back in a lot teaching, like Revelations 10 and 11. John the Revelator is coming back in his lot, teaching the words of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 21. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of them, by the will of man, but holy man, set apart men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Ruach HaKodesh. We believe in the Holy Spirit, not no Harry Potter bullshit. We believe the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahweh is within us, your mind, right? It makes you want to move in the spirit, let alone you don't have a carnal mind, right? You're thinking of the kingdom. You're speaking of the kingdom. You're speaking of order of women, right? Yes, a man might be speaking about polygyny. A prophet might be speaking about captivity. A prophet might be speaking that a woman usurp authority over a man, right? It's multiple things that a prophet is going to actually bring forth, right? And it's going to always go back to the word, because the spirit moves. Like, we could have did a live on just various topics. We would have to go in the scriptures, let alone we could do articles and line the articles with the scriptures. We could have went into prophecy, right? Is it lining up? Let alone, is it going with sound doctrine and 100% truth that was given through the spirit from the apostles on down, right? A prophet is going to believe in what he's teaching, right? And they're going to do their due diligence to study, because when a prophet is teaching, he's not just teaching his own feel good or his own thought. He wants to teach the word of Yahweh Hashem Shai, because this is something serious, right? I can get another one. This is for Yahweh Shai, but when we go to 1 John 2 and 6, if ye abide in him, you must walk as he walked. This is Deuteronomy 18:18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. This is towards Yahushai, but the disciples Yahushai chose. When he went up to the Father, those apostles continued in his ministry. And they started to get persecuted, just like Yahushai, but not in the same sense. But the ministry was going to get persecuted because it was of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It was taking the Pharisees out of their power. More believers was like, oh, snap, this is true, right? And the Pharisees was afraid of losing their power, and they was afraid that Rome was going to cut them off from their position, right? That's how we know you ain't a real prophet. You worried about status, right? Just, I don't know these men, but through the Spirit. Apostle Tahar didn't seek this position, right? He was under the seven. The seven is gone, right? I believe one of them is still teaching, but not in the same sound doctrine. But Apostle Tahar was the next in line, right? And through his congregation, we get Cornelius is an Israelite through Apostle Gabar. The Spirit was moving when I'm like, wait, hold on. This has to deal with the dispersed and the scattered Israelites. Cornelius is an Israelite. Apostle Gabar brought that forth. He gave the account through the scriptures. They fasted on it to hold on. Hey, if this is incorrect, hey, we're gonna correct ourselves. But if this is true, hey, let's brace ourselves for impact. People didn't want to cleave to Cornelius being an Israelite. Now you have multiple camps teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite. Regardless if they didn't get it from Apostle Gabar, the Spirit was moving, man. Right? The Spirit is a moving motion. Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, verse 24. That's how the prophets is. They're a moving motion. Right? So again, a true prophet only speaks Yahweh's words, not smooth words to please men. We're not here to please you. We're here to edify, educate you, and then move on. If you don't get it, we're going to move around. Right? Because we don't need you. Right? Let's get this. Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23 in verse 21 to 22. It's right here. And this is what it reads. It says, I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they have prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they shall have turned them from their evil ways and from the evil of their doings. This is what we do with our teaching, right? To hope and teach the correct understanding that the elect can turn from their evil ways, right? So Ezekiel 21:4, the Lord cut off the righteous and the wicked. A lot of prophets, like I know me, I started to hear this truth at 2025. I mean, not 2025, Salaki, 2015. I didn't fully go hard until 2019, right? But the Lord was building me up. The Lord gave me a gift of talking, but I didn't know how to use it. Got around brothers that sharpened me up. Yes, we had our own camp. Then the Lord had us in HOI. Then the Lord removed us from that because we wasn't getting fed the way the Lord wanted us to get fed. And the Lord moved brothers that was actually following, the brothers that was actually pushing 100% truth, that was actually confident in it through the Rakak Wadash of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And now we're under Great Millstone. Right? That's another way how the Spirit is a moving motion. It will have you near a false teacher. Look at when Yahushai was speaking to the priest. Hold on, let me get it because his name it just lost me. Nicodemus, right? He was cleaving to Yahushai, asking him how to be born. Right, because some of the Pharisees started to believe, man. Right, and that's what happened. You'll be in a false understanding, and the Rakak Wadash will have you understand this is the way. Walk ye in it. Or the Lord will set your steps in a dream or a vision while you sleep, and you'll wake up and fulfill or move in the instructions that the Lord have given you in your rest. Right, we have to believe. A prophet is believing before he starts to teach. Let alone, he has to have the talent through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to be able to teach. Right? This ain't no talent show. The Lord choose you. This is Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. The elect can feel and discern that the Spirit when a prophet is speaking, right? Because of the words, the scriptures he bringing out, how he's making it make sense. How is he delivering it from past time to present in the future? You're like, ooh, that's hitting. Wow. And then you're so intrigued where you stuck, right? But guess what? The same thing happened to you wicked prophets, but you're teaching for lucre's sake. You're teaching to say, ooh, I got to follow, I got to view, I plant the seed, right? Spiritually, it's the Lord planting the seed through us. A real prophet going to say, it's not of me. It's all Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. A real prophet is going to be humble, right? They're not, I am humble. I am sincere. It's a natural thing, right? I'm going to get a few more and I'm going to have to go. This is 1 Corinthians 4:17. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that are right unto you are the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? Where some people would say that Paul's words is not inspired by the Heavenly Father. Yes, they is, man. They would not be in the scriptures if they wasn't, right? The spirit in the listener must recognize the spirit in the prophet. That's why you have to have a discernment and this is why it's very important to be fast to listen and slow to speak. Hear what the brother is bringing out. Go and write the precepts, right? I'm not here, or a real prophet is not going to say, hey, just take my word for it. No, write it down and go look it up yourself, right? Because when you read it, it's going to be like the people of Berea. Acts the 17th chapter, verse 11. They had a readiness mind, and they searched the scriptures daily, those same scriptures that a brother brought out, to see if it was so. And then they might add other history. Oh, he was saying the covenant is only for the Israelites. Okay, I seen the precepts he brought out. Let me go further in the history and let me see if the covenant is only for the Israelites. Then you're going to see it and you're going to be like, wait, oh, snap, right? Like it was a lady that commented on the video I did and said, oh, I'm intrigued. So I was saying the name wrong. So what is the son's real name? Can you show me? What book should I read? And I had gave her a video. I said, I think I kept it short. The name of Yahweh and Yahushai is secret, right? You have to really search and investigate the scriptures to find it. But better yet, I gave her a video that just goes into the name, right? This is, okay, let me hurry up and get this. St. John 7 in verse 16 and 17. This is what it reads. It says, Yahushai answered him and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man would do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of the Most High or whether I speak of myself. Right? The doctrine that Yahushai was teaching was the doctrine of the Father. The prophets have to teach the doctrine of Yahweh, which is 100% truth. Ain't no lie in it. Right? Right? And they got to be confident and sure. Those who sincerely try to obey his will recognize the truth when they hear it. Right? And I could even say I was being stagnant in this thing. But soon as I start seeing how serious Great Millstone was, after watching people make a party of every high holy day, and they get upset to do to bring out a video that you didn't even get to see because they page got down. Well, I'm tired of doing the same video. The apostles and the men under Great Millstone affiliates, I'm not boasting them. I'm boasting in the spirit that Yahweh Shema Shai put on these men to do this, where they're going over the same video, the same precept, to make sure the elect is getting the understanding and getting fed, right? You can't leave the dinner table at your grandma's house and you only ate the chicken and not your vegetables. We got to eat the whole thing. You got to eat the whole roll, right? This is Matthew 13:57 going into a prophet won't seek to be popular, right, with the world. Matthew 13:57, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country or in his own house. Many won't recognize a prophet because of it's because they're familiar or you have unbelief. Oh man, I know that. Man, that brother didn't know. A prophet it's not gonna be liked by everybody. Especially like an example, me and my brothers, we've been out here. People know some of the brothers from their past life. Where are them people that, oh man, you was cool, man? Where they at in videos, right? Some of the men of the Lord got more people listening to them outside their city, right? Like I looked up certain stats on my YouTube channel. I seen more people in Japan is listening to me than people in the United States. About 4 to 6% listen to me in the United States, and about 32 point something percent is listening to me in Japan. And it's another percentage for the UK, another percentage for I think people in Europe, another percentage and probably China, right? And it's all Yahweh Shem Shai, because this thing is a moving motion, right? So, Lord willing, is edifying, right? That's how you know a prophet is in the midst of you, and that's how you know you are a prophet, right? That fire on you. Even a prophet is going to come in this thing like a student. A disciple is a learner, right? You're going to have a fire to want to learn, right? Where you dedicate time to learn. A prophet is going to dedicate time to learn and teach, right? We watch videos over here, right? We dissect them. And guess what? Sometimes you do a video and it makes you want to do a video, right? And this, I think a brother was saying something about the prophets. Some people ain't going to recognize that we're a prophet. And I'm at work like, dang, how would somebody even know that a prophet is right in front of them? And then these precepts is right there, just in the arsenal for us to bring it out. Like, yo, this is how you gonna know that you are a prophet. This is how you know a prophet's in the midst of you. Before I started teaching, I had to, through faith, I believe the Lord brought me across the prophets. Yes, he probably brought me under certain men that were lukewarm, that was still in the milk, and then Yahweh Shem Shai brought me around men that was in the milk and the meat, right? But with that, I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, Barak to Yahweh, Barak to Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of great millstone, Almighty Shalom to the hopeful elect, in the same spirit and sound doctrine, Shalom to the Aquad, believers of his faith and his truth. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, and Lord willing, the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Shalom, shalom, abba, abba.